morning, everyone. My name is Max Hardaker and I'm your host. Parties are a huge part of my life and the lives of my friends. We are constantly going to different parties. There's just something about getting together, listening to music, and having a good time and drinking. In this podcast, I'm going to talk about all the party culture. We'll discuss what the drinking culture at these parties are like and the crazy stuff that happens at the parties. I'll also share my own experiences, the good and the bad. Whether you're a teen who's into partying or an adult who wants to understand the younger generation, this podcast is for you. Join me as we explore the world of parties and everything that comes with it.
First up, I've interviewed Year 11 students Gus McKenzie and Jake Bennett on when they started drinking and what they think about the party culture in Christchurch. What year are you at school?
Year 11.
And when did you start going to parties that involved drinking?
I had my first beer out when I was about 9 years old.
What do you think about the party culture in Christchurch and how we all drink?
Oh yeah, it's bloody good fun.
Anything else?
Oh, keep it up.
What year are you at school?
Year 11.
And what do you think about the party culture and how much people drink at parties?
Pretty good. Good for social activity. Just makes things not as awkward.
This article from Action Point shows how much decline there has been in underage drinking in New Zealand. In summary, the data on the trends in adolescent drinking in New Zealand shows a positive trajectory, with a significant decline in percentage of 15 to 17-year-olds reported drinking in the past year, and nearly halved prevalence of hazardous drinking. This suggests a cultural shift away from alcohol use among young people, driven primarily by changing attitudes rather than environmental factors. However, over half of adolescents in this age group still consume alcohol, and rates of heavy episodic drinking remain concerning, particularly among girls. Continued efforts are needed to further reduce alcohol use and related harms among New Zealand's youth. Up next, we have an interview with Louis Tapper. Let's hear what he has to say. How often do you go to parties?
I'd say I go to parties every so often when a mate's celebrating their 16th or just hosting, and I'd say I drink at every single one that I go to, and I say that everyone else does as well, and I just think it's a good thing to do with your mates.
What do you think about the party culture and drinking at parties in Christchurch?
Well, I think it's quite a good thing, and I think majority of people do. And yeah, I feel like it's a good thing, just connecting with your mates and making new friends. But yeah, other than that, I can't really think of any things that are bad for it.
Next up, we have joining us Mitchell Lewis talking about his experiences and views around drinking at parties. How often do you go to parties?
I'd say I probably go to a party every weekend or maybe every second weekend. I just really like the social aspect of it and just being with mates and just with them and just drinking with them.
Do you drink at all the parties you go to, or do you miss out sometimes on the drinking part?
I'd say I drink at all of them. I just enjoy my time.
Do you think that sometimes the parties get a bit too out of hand?
Oh yeah, that does happen, but only when it's really a open invite party, which they kind of normally end in a disaster.
How much do you normally drink at these parties?
Around about a box. Sometimes I'll drink about a box and 6 drinks and just enjoy my night a lot more than I would if I was just as sober.
And do you do anything like funneling or snorkeling the drinks?
Yes, I have a rule at parties that you either have to chug, snorkel, or scull your first drink. And if you don't, there's a 3-drink punishment where you've got to snorkel 3 straight after.
That was an interesting conversation with Mitchell. This is showing us how most teenagers do go to parties and drink, and this is the same with all the other interviews. All of the boys I interviewed are Year 11 students, and all of them are actively involved in drinking most weekends.
Hi, I'm Ray. Today I'm going to talk about environmental protection. Environmental protection issues are a concern of the world because environmental issues will lead to many question too many problems in the future.
Hi, I'm Ray. Today I'm going to talk about environmental protection. Now people are paying more and more attention to environmental protection issues because pollution has become very severe. I'm here with Mr. Newton. He is the head of physics at Christ College. He is leading a project that has already planted 3,000 trees with some school and Christchurch in the red zone because they want to encourage birds and the lizards and make the place nice to visit. Now let Mr. Newton answer some questions. Okay, this is this is Mr. Newton, and I have some question for you. Yeah, the number one question is, why must we support environmental protection?
For me personally, environmental protection means making the planet at least as good as it used to be in my youth. So we want the carbon dioxide levels to remain where they are. So we need to stop using as many vehicles, and we need to try and get the CO2 that's already in the atmosphere into trees, which is why I plant a lot of trees, grow and plant a lot of trees.
Yeah, the number two question is, why is environmental protection the most important thing in the future?
Unfortunately for the students, young people today, the number of older people and just the number of humans on the planet using fossil fuels is actually going up. And so the CO2 in the atmosphere continues to rise, and therefore the environment continues to heat up. And this is only going to continue until we get less CO2 in the atmosphere.
Yeah, and what is number three question is, how do you be environmental friendly?
Myself, being environmentally friendly means trying to put into practice the theories that other people talk about. So I own an electric car, I ride an electric bike, I try to use clothing which is made of wool rather than synthetics. I have wool carpet in the house that I built, and I plant trees and grow trees for many other people to plant so that we can suck out the carbon dioxide that I personally put into the atmosphere through my living.
Yep. Number four question is, what impact will environmental protection have on the world?
It's easier to answer that in the negative. If we don't have environmental protection, we will have nowhere to live. The problem we face is absolutely massive. It has the potential to end the civilization that we have built over the last 200 years. And if China runs out of water and the nuclear power next door, Pakistan, decides to unblock the river Brahmaputra from crossing the border, this could lead to a mass exodus of people out of Pakistan, Bangladesh. A world war is likely. So environmental protection is incredibly important for the political and just the stability, the future of our civilization.
The number five question is, when can humans achieve environmental protection and zero pollution?
With 8,000 million people on the planet, increasing to 12,000 million people on the planet, it's easy to say, throw up your hands and say, we are going to ruin our planet. However, even in the last 6 months, there have been major breakthroughs in solar panel cost, humanoid robot cost, electric car cost. All of these things have gone down, and I am very optimistic that if we electrify our current civilization and get away from the free energy pollutions of fossil fuels, we can not only return us to where we are currently, but actually end up with a much better civilization after that.
The number 6 question is, how does the government deal with the environmental issues now?
The current New Zealand government, which has only been in power for 2 to 3 months, has gone backwards, listening to their voters who don't appreciate or don't seem to appreciate the magnitude and timeliness, how urgent our behaviour change is. However, every year that goes by, the consequences of not taking action will become more and more apparent to the population. We've just had an airline flight where the turbulence was so damaging to the passengers that one person was killed. This is a consequence of global climate change, more energy in the atmosphere. And it's with those changes that political will change, and the government of New Zealand will implement more and more radical changes to the environmental laws.
Thank you for Mr. Newton answering my question. Thank you.